Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lesson 2. I hope that you're having a wonderful week and that you've already had the opportunity to watch yesterday's devotional. So if you haven't yet listened to that, go ahead and take just a few moments to watch that as soon as possible so that you're prepared before the gathering and before we really begin working into the deeper parts of writing this week. Speaking of, this week is a little bit exciting because we are working on our first writing assignment, the love letter to an inanimate object or activity. Now, this prompt may seem a little bit abstract, but don't stress. It will come a lot more naturally the more you get into it, and the more you're able to review your work with your peers at tomorrow night's gathering. Now, I know it's possibly been a few years since your last peer review, or for some of you, this may even be your first time. So I want to take just a couple of moments to go over the peer review process and make sure that you're getting the most possible out of your peer review and your gathering experience. To start, let's talk about why we peer review. There are many benefits to peer reviewing, but some of the key ones are that it allows you to get an idea of how your paper is received by your audience. Sometimes we think things are making sense, and they do to us, but not necessarily to our audience. And a peer review is a great way to kind of check the temperature on that. It also gives you a second set of eyes to check your paper for errors, and often you can get the unique perspectives of your peers to make your paper more interesting. Not only do we get things from having our papers peer reviewed, but we actually improve as writers by giving peer review. We learn what to look for in a paper as we go over other people's, and we become better writers and editors on our own. Now, let's talk a little bit about how to be effective peer editors. First, you want to look at your higher order concerns. You want to look at your thesis, which is basically the so what of your paper or your claim. In this week's assignment, that's more your claim to love this object or this activity. You want to show that your love is true. Now you want to think of your audience. You are directly addressing this object or this activity. The purpose. Why are you being asked to write this assignment? What are you showcasing? What can you incorporate from this week's learning into this assignment? Your organization, obviously you want there to be a good flow, you want things to make sense. And your support. You're trying to show this inanimate object, perhaps your bed or your pillow or your sewing machine, that you have a true and abiding love for it, and you want to show examples of that. You want to talk about experiences that you've had together to support this claim of love. After you've gone over these things and made sure that they're all there and that they're functioning, you want to look at your lower order concerns like sentence structure, word choice, punctuation, and spelling. This is really more the mechanical area of peer review, but it is good if you find you have time in your session to go over these things. Now, a method that I love that kind of keeps you focused and going through the process correctly and not getting lost on grammar is the CARES method, and you can see this little acronym here. You want to congratulate on what went well. You want to ask clarifying questions if something's a little unclear. You want to request more with improvement ideas. Perhaps you think that the paper you're editing needs another example, something to really bring it home, or a stronger conclusion. You want to evaluate the value and the relevance of the elements. Maybe there are a couple too many stories and it makes the paper drag on. Eliminating one that doesn't add as much may be a really helpful strategy. And then you want to summarize your overall impression. What did you think of the paper? Was it effective? Did it make you smile? Do you think it meets all of the requirements in the rubric? This is kind of where you want to give your summary of your reading experience as you went over it. Now, as you do this, sometimes it's tempting to be critical and say, oh, you don't need that, or oh, you did this wrong, or oh, this could have been better. But always remember to be kind and respectful. I love this quote from General Conference last year. It says, like the monarch butterflies, let us continue on our journey together in purpose, each of us with our own attributes and contributions, working to make this a more beautiful and fruitful world, one small step at a time, and in harmony with God's commandments. Now, I know this is just a writing example, but as you can see from the peer review process, as we help each other to improve, to see ways for improvement, and to offer encouragement, we become better writers, and the people we're helping become better writers. The same is true for life. Find someone this week that perhaps looks a little bit down, or a relationship that's close to you, and find ways to lift that person. Find ways to validate them, to help them feel good about themselves, and in turn, you'll feel good about yourself as well. I hope that you're excited about this week. I'm so ready to read your first draft of the paper, and I'll be leaving you some notes to make sure you're headed in the right direction so you can watch for that feedback. Other than that, I hope that you're going to enjoy your gathering, that you're ready to go, and to help you with that peer review, I'm going to attach a peer review paper that you can print with you, a couple of copies to have people write on for notes for your paper, or you can just print one and have for reference as you're going over other people's papers. Either way, it's a great resource, so I'm going to attach it here, and I wish you the best of luck. Have a great week.